Coca-Cola made a mistake so bad, it sparked a rebellion. Yeah, you heard that right. In the wild world of Coca-Cola history, the new Coke disaster stands out as one of the biggest marketing fails ever. Picture this. A company at the top of its game, beloved by millions, decides to ditch its century-old recipe for something new and improved. What could go wrong? Stick around, because today we're diving deep into how Coca-Cola almost destroyed itself in 1985, the insane consumer backlash that followed, and the epic comeback that turned disaster into triumph. If you're into business stories that pack a punch, this one's for you. But here's the big question. What if changing one simple thing could wipe out billions in brand value overnight? We'll get to that. Let's rewind to the golden age of Coca-Cola. Back in the day, after World War II, Coke wasn't just a drink. It was America in a bottle. With a market share soaring over 60%, it dominated the soda scene like a boss. Soldiers carried it overseas, families guzzled it at barbecues, and it became this cultural icon symbolizing happiness, refreshment, and that fizzy slice of the American dream. But fast forward to the early 1980s, and things started fizzing out. Pepsi was creeping up, chipping away at Coke's throne with aggressive marketing and a sweeter taste that appealed to the younger crowd. By 1983, Coke's market share had dipped below 24%. Ouch! Pepsi's Pepsi Challenge blind taste tests were everywhere. People sipping both and picking Pepsi more often. It was humiliating for Coca-Cola executives. They watched their rival outsell them in supermarkets, and the pressure was on. CEO Roberto Goizueta, who took the helm in 1980, wasn't having it. He declared there were no sacred cows in the business, meaning even the secret formula wasn't off limits. Business insight here. When your competition starts eating your lunch, complacency kills. But could Coke really risk tampering with a recipe unchanged for 99 years? Hold that thought.
Enter the Pepsi Wars. Pepsi wasn't just sweeter, it positioned itself as the choice of a new generation, hip, fun, and rebellious. Michael Jackson danced in their ads, celebrities endorsed it, and suddenly Coke looked like your grandpa's soda. Internally, Coca-Cola was panicking. They conducted their own secret taste tests, confirming what Pepsi bragged about. In blind sips, people preferred the sweeter profile. So the team got to work on Project Kansas, a top-secret mission to reformulate Coke. They tweaked the flavor to make it bolder, rounder, more harmonious, essentially making it taste more like Pepsi. Over 190,000 consumers tested it blindly, and nearly 60% preferred the new version. Executives were thrilled. This was going to crush Pepsi and reclaim the crown. But here's where the business lesson kicks in early. Taste tests measure preference, not loyalty. What if consumers didn't just like the taste? They loved the heritage. We're about to find out if data alone can predict a hit or a flop. April 23, 1985, the day that lives in marketing infamy. Coca-Cola held a massive press conference at Lincoln Center in New York, announcing the launch of New Coke. "The best just got better," they proclaimed. Production of the original formula stopped that week, and New Coke hit shelves in sleek packaging with free samples handed out in major cities. It was available at McDonald's fountains, and the hype was real. Initial sales spiked. People were curious, and some even liked it. For a hot minute, it seemed like a win. Goizueta called it the surest move ever made. But wait, was this bold innovation or a recipe for disaster? Imagine betting your entire empire on a flavor swap. What could possibly go wrong when you mess with something as iconic as Coke? At first, the reaction was mixed. Some folks shrugged and said, "Hey, it's not bad." Diet soda fans and younger drinkers gave it thumbs up. But then the storm hit, especially in the American South, where Coke was more than a beverage. It was part of the identity, a symbol of tradition and heritage. People felt betrayed, like Coca-Cola had surrendered to Pepsi. Calls flooded the hotline, from 400 a day pre-launch to 1,500 angry rants daily. Over 40,000 letters poured in, some addressed directly to Goizueta, calling him everything from a fool to a traitor. One guy even compared it to burning the American flag. Comedians like Johnny Carson and David Letterman roasted it nightly. Even Fidel Castro chimed in, calling it a sign of American decadence. Protests erupted. People hoarded old Coke bottles and grassroots groups formed. Enter Gay Mullins, a retired Seattle man who founded the Old Cola Drinkers of America. He rallied thousands, filed a class action lawsuit, which got dismissed, and vowed to fight for the original. Business takeaway: never underestimate emotional bonds. Consumers don't just buy products, they buy feelings. But how bad did it get? Could this backlash actually force a mega corporation to its knees? It got apocalyptic. Sales of new Coke flatlined by mid-June, bottlers begged for mercy, and Pepsi gloated with ads declaring victory in the cola wars. Coke's stock dipped, while Pepsi's soared. Protesters dumped new Coke in sewers, and black markets popped up for the old stuff at inflated prices. Mullins's group tried shipping old Coke from abroad, but customs blocked it. The company was drowning in negativity. Psychologists later said it tapped into fears of change in a turbulent 1980s America. Here's the cliffhanger. With the world rebelling, would Coca-Cola double down on their mistake or pull off the ultimate pivot? Stick with me, because the recovery is where the real magic happens. By July, executives knew they had to act. Internal memos flew, and Goizueta faced the music. On July 11, 1985, just 79 days after the launch, they announced the return of the original formula as Coca-Cola Classic. The reaction? Pure joy. ABC News interrupted General Hospital for the bulletin. Senators cheered on the floor, and strangers hugged in the streets. Calls to the hotline surged to 18,000 that day, but now they were thank yous. Peter Jennings quipped it was the biggest story since the Iran hostage crisis ended. Classic Coke flew off shelves, outselling New Coke and even Pepsi by year's end. New Coke lingered, renamed Coke 2 in 1990, but fizzled out by 2002. Business insight: admitting failure fast can save your skin. Humility wins loyalty. But was this all a secret master plan? Some conspiracy theorists say Coke orchestrated it to boost sales. Nah, it was a genuine blunder. But the silver lining? It reignited passion for the brand. Fast forward, and the New Coke saga became a Harvard Business School case study. Sales skyrocketed post-recovery. Classic Coke's market share jumped, and the cola category boomed. It taught marketers worldwide, don't fix what ain't broken. Emotional attachment trumps data. Those taste tests ignored how people felt about losing the original. Sensation transference played a role too. People's love for the brand influenced how they perceived the taste. Coca-Cola tightened control over bottlers, spun off Coca-Cola Enterprises, and focused on heritage marketing. In 2019, they even brought back New Coke for a Stranger Things promo, turning the flop into nostalgia gold. Lesson for entrepreneurs: risks are essential, but test the waters deeply. Change can alienate your core fans, so balance innovation with respect for legacy. Wrapping this up, the new Coke disaster in Coca-Cola history proves that even giants stumble, but it's how you recover that defines you. This marketing fail didn't kill Coke. It made it stronger, reminding us that consumers hold the power. So, what do you think? Coke or Pepsi? Settle the debate in the comments below. And remember, in business and life, keep hustling.